Hey, 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 I think I'm live. Am I live? No. Well, I think I'm live, although I'm not sure. I think we've got a little bit of an issue here with some of my accounts. Sorry, I'm I'm working out the technology here. Hello, welcome to today's Cuppa with Katie show, but I have no cuppa. I have SodaStream, fizzy water, because it's bloody hot in England right now and I'm loving it. Hey Sarah, hi darling, so good to see you. I've been thinking about you today. Hope you're doing well. Who else is here joining? Say hello as you're joining. Say hello, hello. It's so wonderful to be with you. I'm going to be answering a question today. And more often than not, that's what I'm going to be doing on these Cuppa with Katies. It's a chance to get your dating and relationship questions answered. Hello, Facebook user. Facebook user, you've not given StreamYard permission to use your name, but that's okay. Happy to have you here. Maybe let me know, just comment who you are. Yeah, I'm going to be answering your dating and relationship questions. So whether you're single or whether you are in a relationship, I bet you have questions. Don't we all have questions? I mean, I think that relating to other people is probably the most challenging thing that we're invited to do as human beings, right? And we have questions, and invariably our questions, our relationships are always going to be a mirror to ourselves. They're going to be a mirror to what's going on for us. And so they're the perfect, most wonderful opportunity for self-inquiry and for personal growth and evolution. Yeah, relationships are always that. So whether you are single or in a relationship, it doesn't matter. Yeah, your desire to be in a relationship and perhaps what's blocking you to that, or whatever your discomforts are within your relationship, these are all the perfect mirror to show you what your next piece is that you can evolve and grow. Yeah, this is the human experience, and it's the human experience for those of us who acknowledge that we are first and foremost spiritual beings. Yeah, and we're here to evolve and grow. Relationships are our perfect learning ground. Sarah's saying, I've been thinking about you too. I just nearly messaged you and have been listening to you on Daring and Mighty online course. Oh, great. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd started the Daring and Mighty Love course, Sarah. Awesome. I'm so glad you're doing it. Yay. That's awesome. And who's this? Soul to Soul Healing. Hello. What tips do you have for enjoying online dating? Awesome. What a great question. How about I answer that next week for you? I'm loving that you've written that. That's brilliant. I'm going to save that. I'm going to answer a question today that I've already got lined up that was sent to me last night, and which is perfect timing for today. And I will add that to my list of questions, and I'll look to answer that in a future Cuppa with Katie. But it's a really good one because online dating is meant to be fun. Did you know that? Yeah, and it can be. Did you know that? Okay, right, let me answer today's question. Let me read the question out first. Okay, the question I have today, I'm going to keep it anonymous this time because I haven't had permission from this woman to share her name. It says, I have been getting to know someone I have really grown to care about. He calls me beautiful, calls me every week, and we chat for hours. He seems to like me back, but he's never asked me out. My brother says you need to tell him how you feel and ask him to be honest about how he feels. Set some boundaries. But I'm a bit terrified he'll not cope and run like the wind. I thought you might have some advice with all your knowledge. Awesome. What a good question. Thank you for the question. Okay, so where do I begin with this? Actually, let me just keep the question in front of me so I can refer to it. What really stands out for me in this question is there's two pieces. This piece around set some boundaries, and what's really interesting about that is the focus that I want to bring to that word boundary. It's not about putting boundaries in place to protect you more in this instance. This is about expanding your boundaries. Yeah, so quite often when we talk about boundaries, where we talk about it in relation to I mean, this has been a big thing for me in the last couple of weeks. Like, I've really been having to strengthen some of my boundaries in various areas of my life, very much so in my business. I've already got very strong business boundaries, but boy, you know, when your business goes to the next level, new boundaries are required. And so I've been strengthening them in terms of protecting me and my energy more so that I can continue to serve at the level that I'm serving. So there's been a strengthening and a closing in of my boundaries somewhat. However, sometimes we have to expand our boundaries. And in this instance, that's what we're talking about. And to expand boundaries can bring up vulnerability, because we might have to expose ourselves somewhat, expose our heart. It leaves us open, doesn't it, to that fear of being hurt or being rejected. And that's the greatest human fear, is to be left alone, because we're social creatures. We need each other. We need that connection. We need that intimacy to thrive in life. We also need it to survive. We need each other to survive. And we need beautiful, healthy relationships to feel like we're thriving. So the vulnerability that comes with expanding boundaries to actually allow someone in can be a bit of a frightening process, and it can take some practice to be vulnerable. And that's something I love to talk about. And vulnerability is something I love coaching and supporting my clients with. But I'm going to talk less about vulnerability today and more about the importance of, well, I suppose it ties into vulnerability actually, because what I believe is an empowered woman is prepared. And you don't offer up yourself, you don't expand your boundaries and offer up yourself to anybody without preparing yourself first, without preparing yourself to be vulnerable. You don't just chuck yourself unconsciously into the deep end and cross your fingers and hope for the best. You prepare yourself. That's self-love in action. Yeah. So what I want to speak to today, and I really want to pick up on this language here where you say, but I'm a bit terrified. First of all, but I'm a bit terrified. That's a strong word, right? And that feeling needs to be fully acknowledged. We really need to pay that attention with love and kindness and compassion. We don't want you exposing yourself and feeling terrified. My invitation to you would be to love yourself deeply and fully, to then very gently and compassionately and in an empowered way, perhaps approach this man with what we're talking about here. We'll get to that in just a minute. So I want to acknowledge how you're truly deeply feeling about it. An empowered woman takes her power back by fully acknowledging how she's feeling. That's one thing that I want to cover today. You said, I'm terrified he'll not cope and run like the wind. I want to check out those beliefs. There's several beliefs in that one sentence. I want to check that out. I would invite you to do some self-inquiry and check that out so that you can be in your power. Yeah, so let's work through that. Hold on a moment. I've written some notes. I'm going to take a sip because it really is like sweltering hot here. I was speaking to my sister in Sydney this morning, and she was laughing at me because she was checking the temperature of where I live. And I think she said, oh, it's about 27. And she laughed. I'm like, yeah, it's really hot. I mean, it's probably about 30 now. For the UK, that's crazy hot, right? And and we're just not used to it. Anyway, hold on a minute. Oh, it's Ruth. Hello, Ruth. You're the Facebook user. Nice to see you, darling. Just checking the comments. Okay, so let me look at my notes. Yes. All right, so we're expanding boundaries and we're remembering that an empowered woman is prepared. So how do you prepare yourself? Step one, you explore any fear. And step two, you feel into your desire. You get familiar with what it is that you want. This is all about living consciously. We don't want you on autopilot. We don't want you acting out unconsciously. That would have you feel unsafe. That's not the place to go into practicing vulnerability. We want you to feel as safe as possible before you open your heart and soul to another human being. Okay, it's beautiful to open your heart and soul to another human. It will always be awkward before it's elegant. It requires so much self-trust and trust of the other person, and it requires an ability to drop expectation of outcome. So many pieces, and we'll talk about vulnerability another time. If you look on my Instagram and the favorites section, is it called favorites? Highlights, the highlights section. There's a highlight called Dear Katie, where I answer so many questions, and there's many questions around vulnerability that I answer in there. So if that's a topic of interest to you, go to my Instagram, look at the highlights, click on Dear Katie. You'll find loads on vulnerability, but we can talk about it more in future Cuppa with Katie shows as well. Oh, hey, Sharla, lovely to have you here. Welcome, welcome, darling. So, all right, so we want to explore the fear first up, and then we want to explore what it is you really want, your desires. So in terms of exploring the fear, the first thing I would check out is that word terrified. Like, what is it that has you feel so terrified? I would invite you to write about why you feel so terrified, because that's a strong word. What's really coming up for you? And look at, like, terrified is one emotion. It's a big emotion. It's a very valid emotion. So I want you to really acknowledge that that's going on for you. And I want you to explore what's going on within that emotion. What else is going on underneath that, inside of that? For example, it could be past relationship pain, it could be loss, it could be grief, it could be regret. Just notice, like, what is this terrified emotion about for you? And just get, up close and personal with it. Write about it. Write about where this terror comes from and all of the other linked emotions. Just love yourself enough to acknowledge how you feel, the fullness of how you feel, the full range of emotions. While you're writing, you might also discover, I'm actually really excited at the idea of sharing my truth with this guy. I'm excited at the possibility here. Because terrified, that the fear, the terrified, that emotion is very strongly linked to excitement. Like, it's very easy to kind of flip the fear into a love and feel the excitement as well. So just notice all the different feelings that are coming up for you and just really acknowledge them. That's how you get in your power. And then write out all your beliefs. So, oh, it's Kate. Hello, Kate. Having lunch. Good stuff. Nice to see you watching, eating your lunch. I love that. So yeah, write out the beliefs. What else could be true? Because let me go back to your question. You said, I'm a bit terrified he'll not cope and run like the wind. So check that out. I've written some examples here I'm going to share with you. I'm making this up somewhat. I'm making some presumptions here, but you have to write out what's true for you. What else could be true? And by the way, if you didn't see my Cuppa with Katie last week, I went into a lot of detail on how to question limiting beliefs. You might be telling yourself, he doesn't want to date me. What else could be true? He does want to date me. Like, you get to choose beliefs. I guess I have to probably recap a little of what I was speaking about last week. So there are people in the world who are very confidently approaching other people and saying, you know what, I think I like you. Would you like to go on a date? And they're able to do that because they're believing beliefs that support them in doing that. And you, who's asked this question, anonymous lady, you don't currently have those beliefs, but some people do. And there's multiple beliefs out there. Like, there's hundreds of beliefs. Like, he doesn't want to date me. He does want to date me. I might go on a date with him and decide I don't want to date him again. You might need to get into reality that you're asking for one date. You're asking for a coffee. You're not asking him to get married the next time you see him, right? Like, you might need to just get into reality and rein it back in a little bit. But you get to choose the beliefs. The key piece is noticing how beliefs make you feel. So when you feel, when you choose the belief he doesn't want to date me, notice how that makes you feel. It might make you feel rejected, isolated, lonely, not good enough. Notice how it makes you feel. Choose how you desire to feel instead. It's up to you. How would you like to feel? I'm going to suggest potentially connected, loved, excited, happy, confident, empowered. What do you need to believe to feel that? You get to choose your beliefs. There are gazillions of beliefs out there related to this. You choose the ones that work for you, to support you, to take you in the direction that you want to go. Because while you're choosing, and it may be you're unconsciously choosing, which is why I'm saying an empowered woman is prepared. She does the self-inquiry. She checks it out. She's not living life unconsciously on an autopilot. She notices, oh my God, I didn't even realize that I was believing that I was kind of equating a first date to marriage. That's huge. Of course I'm shit scared. I'm not ready to get married. I actually hardly know the guy. Like, just bring it back into reality. I want to have a coffee with the guy. That's all. All I want to do is have a coffee with the guy, or go out for a glass of wine, or go for a walk in the park. That's all I want to do. And then we'll take it from there. So get into reality. Like, what do I need to believe? I need to believe that he'd enjoy having a cup of coffee with me. Period. You know, it just takes the drama out. It is your truth. It's choosing beliefs that have you feel the way you desire to feel is so key, especially when dating. Some other beliefs might be, he doesn't want to have dinner with me. That could be a limiting belief. Well, what else could be true? He does want to have dinner with me. What else could be true? I might actually have a coffee with him first, then decide I don't want to have dinner with him. I might decide after dinner that I don't want to date him. Like, play it through to all the different possibilities. Remember, it's not all about what he thinks. It's not all about what he wants. How about what you think, what you value, how you desire to feel? What do you want? Like, an empowered woman knows that first and foremost. And with that, and we're going to get to that as part 2 of this self-preparation piece before going in and having the conversation. You need to know what you want, and you need to create, like, tune into and align with beliefs that are aligned with what you want and that have you feel the way you want to feel. Again, this requires you to get super conscious, to take 20, 30 minutes with your journal to explore what you're thinking, to check those thoughts out, to notice how those thoughts are making you feel. Play the tape through, get into reality, right? This is all the preparation that you would do before putting your heart out there and being vulnerable. Let me see, what else have I put here? Oh, yes. So one of your beliefs was, he will not cope with hearing my truth. Yeah, strong belief, right? What else could be true? He will love hearing my truth. What else could be true? A man that can't cope with my truth is not my man. Pretty powerful, right? And you'll get to beliefs like that when you play the tape through. It's almost like you might not get it straight away. Even as I was writing this, I was like, yeah, he'll not cope with hearing my truth. What else could be true? He will cope with hearing my truth. What else could be true? Oh my God, a man that is not able to cope with my truth is so not my man. That you'll get to that. You'll find your empowerment through checking out your beliefs. Can you feel that? You also said, he will run like the wind. What else could be true? He will run towards me like the wind, instead of, like, I'm presuming he'll run away from you like the wind. That's what the saying means, right? But maybe he'll run towards you like the wind. Maybe I will run like the wind after our first date. Remember, it's one date. And in that one date, you may discover that you want to have another date. And then you might discover you want to have another date. Or you might discover, do you know what? After 1 or 2 dates, it's not the right fit. He's a great friend. Take the drama out of it. See it for what it is at every stage that it is. It's a progression, dating. And we have to stay with the progression. Us women, we're such a beautiful, wonderful, emotional creatures. And we can, like, swipe left. Is it left or right? I've forgotten now. Which Left is no, right is yeah. I can't remember. Anyway, we might swipe someone that we like, and our brain will instantly go to imagining our wedding day. We don't even know the guy's middle name yet, or the girl's middle name, whoever you're dating. We don't even know. We don't know anything about them yet, except their profile picture and a couple of things they've chosen to tell us about themselves. And we're like off, imagining weddings, imagining blended families, and like, this is what we do. And that's okay. And notice if that is disempowering. Notice if that terrifies you. Notice if that takes you down a thought and a way of thinking where you're feeling pretty like scared and nervous. Be with where you're at. Where I'm at right now is, he looks like a nice guy. I might just say hello. And I'm available to see what he says in return. And that's literally where you're at, and stay there. Be where you're at. It's really important. It's a way of keeping, like, remaining in your power. And I kind of know as I'm saying this, you know this, right? Like, I know that I'm not saying anything that you don't know. And because you are all the women here watching right now, that you are wise, beautiful souls. You have a clue, right? You have a lot of wisdom. You have a lot of life experience. I am not telling or sharing anything that I know that you don't already know. And in the human experience, we forget because we do get caught up in the emotion. We do get caught up in the drama. We do get caught up in the fear. And the fear just has us like bunny in headlights, and we forget our wisdom. We forget our empowered truth. We forget that we do have our own answers inside. Like, you do know what you want. You do know what you value. You do know what's true for you. But we forget, which is why I keep coming back to an empowered woman is prepared, and she chooses how she's going to move through and respond to life. She doesn't live in reaction. She's not unconscious and on autopilot. That's what we're doing here, is we're honing that skill. We're working that muscle of living consciously. Okay, so then another line of, so just to recap where we've got to, your step one is you're noticing how you're feeling. So for this woman, it's feeling terrified, and you're exploring the feelings and you're allowing yourself to feel your feelings. That's a way of taking your power back, to fully acknowledge them. Step two is you're checking out your belief systems. You're noticing how they are making you feel. You're choosing how you want to feel instead. And so you're choosing beliefs that have you feel the way you want to feel instead. Okay. The next piece I'm going to invite you to is to ask yourself the question, if I share my true feelings, what's the worst that could happen? I really want you to get into reality about what could happen. And there could be multiple, you could write like Hollywood-esque, like screenplays, scripts about all the different things that could happen. If you share your true feelings, what's the worst that could happen, right? You could kind of play with it and have fun with it. And I'm going to imagine that one of the worst things that could happen might be that the belief would be he doesn't want me. Okay. And there will be discomfort in that belief that he doesn't want me. But right now, I would like to invite you to remember that you are experiencing discomfort because you don't have the answer. So when you get the answer, there might be some discomfort, but you're already uncomfortable. There's a discomfort here and now. So would you prefer to be in a discomfort of not knowing? Or would you prefer to be in the discomfort, the potential discomfort, because it might not be uncomfortable. It could be all very mutual and wonderful and run off into the distance, holding hands, playing happy families. But would you prefer to be uncomfortable in the not knowing here and now? Or would you prefer to be uncomfortable with the empowerment of the truth and knowing that truth? Because at least that information gives you some certainty. It's a basic human need, is to feel certainty. I'm just offering that out there. But play the tape through, get into reality. What's the worst that could happen? you stay friends? Somebody has said, hi, Katie. So lovely to be listening in today. That's wonderful. I don't know who that is because it's coming up as Facebook user. Can you just let me know? Can you just type again, just your name so I know? Great to have you. Okay, and so then I am, right, so what we've been doing so far is exploring the fear. Do you remember I said an empowered woman is prepared? Step one is, oh, Jody, hi, Jody. Hi, darling, really, really good to have you. Hi. So step one is exploring the fear. Step two is feeling into the desire. So we're moving into this part two of this process, the desire. What do you want? Do you even know? You've got to get into reality and not be in the fantasy of knowing what you want. So this woman is sharing, I'm going back to her question on my screen here. She's been getting to know someone that she really cares about. He calls her beautiful, calls her every week. They chat for hours. He seems to like me, but he's never asked me out. Okay, so, oh, hold on, I've lost my screen. 1 second, there you are. So that's what we know. And sometimes it's easy to go into kind of a fantasy, like sort of fantasizing what this relationship is or where you want it to go without even really being in reality and checking it out. So, I mean, I know the woman that's asked this question. I'm pretty sure she's in reality. I'm pretty sure she's checked it out. I would still invite this line of inquiry, these questions. Oh, Wendy's here. Hello, darling. Listening intently. Love you. Oh, yay. I love listening intently. Okay, so I would ask myself, yourself, I would invite you to ask yourself these questions. What do I know that I already like about him? It's a bit like the pros and cons list. It feels very Friends to me. Pros and cons. But what do I already know that I like about him? Like just connect him with the reality of that. Again, it's just an empowerment piece before you go ahead and vulnerably put yourself out there and suggest a date and say how you feel. What do I already know I like about him? Maybe in writing that list, what you'll connect with, perhaps, I'm just making a suggestion here because I don't know the guy, but perhaps what I already know that I like about him is that I feel safe with him, that I actually feel like I can already trust him. I know that he's already shared XYZ with me. I've already shared XYZ with him, and therefore I've felt safe and I've felt trusting. And I know that I already like, I appreciate his humor, his intelligence, his, like play it through. What do you already know about him? It just might help you to feel safer to approach him. But unless we get into reality about it and really consciously connected with those truths, it's really easy to like kind of go down the rabbit hole of that fear spiral. We want to bring you back into reality. Okay. Another question you could ask is, what do I already know that I don't like about him? This just means you're checking it out to make sure you're not going off on some kind of fantasy. Yeah, like really check it out. Do I like him, or do I like that he likes me? That's a good one to ask yourself. Do I like him, or do I like that he likes me? Or is it both? Is it both? I like him and I like that he likes me. I've worked with a lot of women where there's a habit of focusing on how the guy or the girl, the partner, the potential partner feels about them, how they, what they want, what they need. And there's not a habit of asking like, well, how do I feel about you? What do I want? What feels good for me? Am I available for that behavior? The habit is for the woman to like kind of bend herself into a pretzel to be the all singing, all dancing version of what she thinks he or she wants. But who the hell do we think we are to know what anybody else wants anyway? We have to mind our own business. And the focus of attention, first and foremost, we start with ourselves. How do I feel about that person? What do I want? What would feel good for me? What do I value? Yeah, so start there. Check that out for yourself. How do I, and this next question you could check out, how do I desire a first date to look and feel like? Like, what do you want for a first date? Remembering what I was saying before, like, we're not rushing you off to walk down the aisle with somebody. This is a first date. Like, what would that look like for you? Do you want to go for a walk on the beach? Do you want to go see a film? Do you want to go for dinner? Like, what would feel good for you? Because remember, in terms of, if you're going to vulnerably go to him with this conversation of, this is how I feel, and I'd love to have a date with you, or however the conversation goes, and that's not what I'm going to discuss here and now, but I can help you to prepare for those conversations. But this is the prep. Actually, this is the preparation for those conversations. You want to know what you want. So just, it won't take you very long, but just get into reality. Know what that is before you go in and have the conversation. Remember, we're not just jumping off a cliff. You're doing a little bit of prep. How quickly do I desire to advance a relationship? Take your power back. Know that for yourself. Do I just want to very slowly go for a few coffees, maybe some dinners? Or am I like gung-ho ready for a full-blown relationship with this person? I don't know. What's true for you? You need to know that. Armed with that, you will feel more confident and empowered. Yeah. And then the final question I've got is, if I ask for what I want in terms of meeting up for a date, what do I want? Well, I think I kind of already covered that. But what do you want? What are you going to ask for? Yeah. You have to know these answers to feel empowered to go into that conversation. So you're expanding your boundaries to be more vulnerable. That's what we're doing here. Before you put yourself out there to be that vulnerable, you're going to get into your power by exploring your fear, exploring your feelings, and exploring your desire and what you want. I would love to hear how this lands for everybody who's watched. Feel free to maybe type in the comments your biggest aha. Did I say one thing that was a little golden juicy nugget that you needed to hear today? Share that. There's something about writing it down and having it witnessed that will help you to integrate that and take that on as a new kind of learning and sort of strengthen those muscles. So please do share with me. And not least, I like to hear, I like to know whether what I'm sharing is helping you or not. And if you have any dating or relationship questions that you would like me to answer in an upcoming Cuppa with Katie show, pop them in here. We've got a little spreadsheet on the go of questions, and I will choose a question every week and answer one, at least one, if not two, for you. Okay, so comment below or email support@theschoolofself.love with your questions, and we will get them answered. Wendy says, bloody brilliant. I even finished some of your sentences. Yay, I love that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, darlings. And if you want to be part of an amazing community of women who are determined to get good at relationship, whether you're single or already in a relationship, come and join Evolution Membership. It's a very, very beautiful community. We do very fantastically powerful work in there. We have 2 coaching calls with me a month on Zoom, so I get to see you. Like, this is a different. This is quite Q&A here, Q&A-ish here, because I can't see you and we're not having dialogue. But when I do my group coaching, we have it on Zoom. We can see each other. We can have some interactions. I do 2 calls a month in the Evolution Membership. Like I said, amazing community. We have a different theme every month as well, with another expert coming in and teaching and guiding on a particular topic. This month's topic is spirituality and divinity. We're coming up we're almost in August. Where has the year gone? Next month it's leadership, and we're looking at empowered feminine leadership. So yeah, there's a lot there. First month is currently free, so please do come and join us. It's £39 a month after the first month, by the way. And hold on, I'm going to read these comments before I disappear. I've loved listening to this, especially tuning back into what I desire, not worrying what he is thinking about, but what is true for me. Beautiful, Jody. That's awesome. I'm so glad, darling. Really glad to have you here too. And Kalandra, hello, honey. Nice to have you. says dating with anxiety and phobia of crowds. Okay, that's a really good question. And I have a feeling, Calandra, that a lot of what I've shared here today will be of benefit to you, because, you know, remember the last questions I was asking about, like getting into, like, empowering yourself with answering the questions about how do I desire a date to look like, how, you know, and being able to ask for what you need. Remember, asking is the first step to receiving. And if it feels scary for you to be in crowds, it's okay to ask a guy for how you want the first date and subsequent dates to go down. And remember, your guy or your girl, sorry, I'm making a presumption, that dreadful presumption there, but the person that you want to call in, that person, that one special, amazing person, will love and honor you for the woman that you are. Yeah, will love and honor you for the person that you are, and will want to take care of you. Yeah, and will understand, and will have patience and compassion and kindness. Yeah, it's good, important to remember. All right, my darlings, loving you so much. Have a beautiful day. I'm going to go finish my cold drink and go get a bit of sunshine before my next project. See you later. See you next week. Bye.